What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Welcome in to the Mayo Media Network. I'm your host, Chris Meaney. This is Fantasy Hockey Picks and Bets presented by Prize Picks. 6 games on the ice tonight. I got Eric Young hanging by. We're going to break them all down, give you some DK picks, give you some player props, and hopefully some winners. It's been a big 24 hours for the Mayo Media Network, the big Brooks Koepka call. So hopefully we can build that bankroll even higher for you guys. But first, I wanted to spend some time and present the Prize Picks play of the day. There's 2 players I'm looking at. If you're just new to prizepicks.com, check them out. Use that promo code MMN, 100% match deposit of up to $100 when you use that promo code MMN. So let's get underway. 2 players really stand out, as I mentioned. The first one's Patrik Laine, 4.5 fantasy points. I'm going to take the over there. He's played 3 games with the Blue Jackets so far. He's averaging 19 minutes, 22 seconds over those 3 games. He has 3 goals and 6 shots. The first game didn't go his way, but he put 7 shot attempts towards the net. That's what I'm looking for here for Prize Picks. You get half a point for a shot, 3 points for a goal, 2 points for assist. You get points for blocks as well. May not get a lot of that with Laine, but he's going to shoot the puck, and that's what I really like. Columbus last night, 5 goals against Carolina. We're going to see the backups in this game. We could see a lot of goals in this contest. So give me Laine and the over. At that line last night just reassembled with Jack Roslovic, Patrik Laine, Cam Atkinson, team high at 5-on-5, a team high 8 shot attempts, 5 scoring chances, and 2 high danger chances. And we know what Laine can do on the power play. He had a power play goal yesterday. So give me Laine in the over. Give me Connor McDavid in the over 5.5 too. I was on the fence. It's like Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, both of these guys in primetime matchups. So Matthews is a little high. McDavid here at 5.5, 9 goals, a league high, 26 points in 13 games. He enters this evening on a 9-game point streak, and all he's done over those 9 games is score 6 goals and rack up 21 points. He had 7 points in 2 games against Ottawa last week. He gets the Sens again. The Oilers outscored Ottawa in that 2-game series, 12-7, 48 shots on goal for Mr. McDavid. He had 2 assists. If he gets 2 assists, he had it against the Oilers in one of those, or against Ottawa in one of those games. If he gets 2 assists, 3 shots on goal, we're there. We're right at that total already. So I feel like he's going to get a couple points this evening. You look at Ottawa 5-on-5. They've allowed the 3rd most shot attempts, the 3rd most scoring chances per 60 minutes at 5-on-5, and the 3rd highest expected goals per 60 minutes. So give me the over on McDavid and give me the over on Patrik Laine. Use that promo code MMN at prizepicks.com. Let's bring in Eric Young. 6 games on the ice tonight. EY, happy Monday, man. What's going on?
This is a good way to start my Monday. We're talking hockey, we're talking bets, we're talking NHL. They're soldiering on, tons of postponed games. Fingers crossed that they can finish this season. It's been a wild ride, man. It's a wild ride.
Yeah, it really has been. It's been fun. The hockey's been great. I'm not crazy about playing the same team all the time, but we have some data at least to go by. And, there's been some trends, certainly in the North Division. If you're just looking for some season-long stuff, check out FTN. Use that promo code Meaney or that promo code Mayo. I have a waiver wire rankings article up there already. There are several teams playing 4 games this week, so taking a look at some streams and some deep league ads, some players maybe you should buy low, sell high. And there are several teams playing 2 games for the week, and this is week 4 of the fantasy hockey season. If you're already off to an 0-3 start, you may have to cut some ties with some guys that are just not performing, maybe stream some players. So check out ftnfantasy.com for that article and use that promo code Mayo or Meaney. Eric, before we get into the games, every Monday I see you active in my leagues, picking up some guys, dropping some guys. Who are a few players that you've had your eye on?
Someone for sure. I mean, he was probably owned in a lot. I don't know what the percentage is, but Connor Verhaeghe in Florida.
Oh, yeah.
There looks like there's a real chemistry between him and Barkov. Every time I see Barkov, I cuss because I wanted him on the Preds. They ended up taking Seth Jones and trading away for Ryan Johansson, and we could have just had Barkov all along, and everything would have been right in the world. Look, Ryan Johansson's a good player, but Barkov is elite. He is. It's insane how good this guy is, and because he plays in Florida, I still think he's not talked about enough. He's been an underrated player for as long as he's been in the league, and we always have talked about it. But the reality is, he plays in Florida. No one watches Florida. No one cares about Florida. They haven't been competitive. Barkov is top I'm going to go out on a limb and say top 5 centerman in the entire league right now. He is an absolute beast. And Connor Verhaeghe, like out of nowhere, I don't even know if I'd even heard this guy's name before this year. But there's a real chemistry there. If you're watching the games, and trust me, I'm watching the games, that's definitely a guy to be looking to add.
Yeah, I would agree. And he's off to a really good start. He's not getting any love in the DFS community. DraftKings wrote him up twice over the past couple games. Don't think it worked out too well yesterday, but it did work out against your Preds. He had a goal and an assist. He's got 9 points and 6 goals so far on the season. Yeah, not getting the respect on DraftKings in terms of pricing and DFS and in season-long leagues too. He's checking in under 60% across all platforms. Geez, he's 33% in Yahoo leagues, and he's jumped up 6% over the past 24 hours roughly. But yeah, this is a guy who scored, Eric. I do remember him playing for the Ice Dogs, OHL Niagara. He had 33 goals, 82 points in 68 games. So what he's doing is not really a fluke. He had back-to-back 80-point seasons playing for the Ice Dogs back in around 2013, 2014. So he had some points getting it done. There's one guy that we'll get to in a little bit that I think is trending up, and that's Jack Roslovic, as I mentioned off the top of the show, getting an opportunity here to play with a familiar face in Patrick Laine, and he looked good yesterday. In fact, he's looked real nice over the past 3 games. We'll get to him in a little bit. Let's talk some picks. Let's start with the Leafs. We got the Canucks and the Maple Leafs again tonight. Toronto minus 195 favorites here. Vancouver plus 165. 4-8 against the spread for the Leafs. 6-9 for the Canucks. The total here is at 6.5. Man, I don't really know what to say anymore about Vancouver. I'm running out of things to say. This is just a hockey team that does not look good. There's been at least 6 goals scored in 70% of their games so far this season. It was a 5-1 win against Toronto on the weekend. It was a 7-3 win the game before that. The Canucks are just really struggling defensively, Eric, to keep the puck out of their net. And Austin Matthews is on a heck of a run. He's got 10 goals. Seems like this guy scores at will every time he touches the ice, 50 shots on net. It was tough for me not to include him in the prize picks off the top. I mean, 5.9 is a little high, but I don't know how you just don't get involved with Austin Matthews. I mean, finding the back of the score, finding the back of the net, hitting the score sheet again, Eric, tonight, probably.
He's looked incredible. The Leafs look they're capitalizing on mistakes, and Vancouver is making a ton of them. I mean, look, it's not over for Vancouver yet, but because of the shortened season, because they're playing in the ultra competitive North Division, Canadian Division, whatever you want to call it. I mean, they're going to have to get things right quick to even be able to sniff the playoffs, and that's how quick this is going to slip away from teams. They've looked bad, like just bad. They do not look like a good hockey team at all. Obviously, the loss of Markstrom, I think, is affecting them more than they thought, more than a lot of people thought. And even Chris Tanev, I mean, that is a good defenseman. He blocks a ton of shots, kind of a heart and soul guy back there on defense. And there's nobody to take his place. Vancouver's bad. Toronto right now is really good. I know that's a homer pick for me, but they look like they're capitalizing when people make mistakes. And this is, I mean, if you're a Maple Leafs fan, this is what you've been waiting for. You're waiting for teams to make mistakes, and the Toronto Maple Leafs with all that skill up front to make them pay. And that's what's happening right now.
Yeah, Matthews enters tonight on a 7-game goal streak. He's got 9 goals over that span. He's got 29 shots. He's got goals in. Did he have 2 goals the other night, and then he had 2 goals the game before that, right? Maddie, we got Wayne Simmons out of the lineup here this evening. What do you think that top 6 is going to look like? Who do you think is going to take that spot on that second line? Mikheyev? He's not there. What do you think, EY?
It could be VC.
Oh, I thought you were asking EY. That's my bad, fellas. EY, take it away.
You guys are bleeding blue. I need to know what's happening with Wayne Simmons.
EY, take it away. I'll give my 2 cents after.
Yeah, I mean, for me, as a person that owns Ilya Mikheyev in our Dynasty salary cap league, I wanted to be him. But I would, VC has actually looked pretty good. Ties back to being drafted by the Predators here, a player that I've been aware of for a long time, and a very good player. So, I mean, to me, it's going to be one of the two. My hope it's Mikheyev, not great at shooting the puck, but can skate, can pressure guys, is a big body, can stand in front of the net. I mean, he's not going to be Wayne Simmons. Wayne Simmons he might be my favorite player in the league right now. It's
exactly cool what the Leafs needed, right?
100%. It's unbelievable. And everyone's like, oh, he's over the hill. He's not that old. I mean, he was never fast. That was never his game. His foot speed was never high. What he does is he is good all over the ice and is unbelievable at standing in front of the net. The goal he scored the last game where he's on the side of the net and he roofs that puck over, like there's like literally a 2-inch hole over Holtby's shoulder, and he just shoots it right past him. That's a very, very high skill play. Losing him is bad news for the Maple Leafs. I mean, really bad news. I think it's going to be way worse than I think people think.
What do you think, Maddie?
Give me Mickey on that second line. I'm a big fan of Mickey's game. He's faster than a lot of people think because they see him on the ice and he think he's just a big lumbering Russian. Well, I mean, while he is that, he's a quick dude. I think VC's better off on that third line because if he's going to play with Kerfoot and Spezza there, they need someone who can snipe and is a little quicker. I don't really trust Kerfoot to generate any offense. I trust him to take a heck of a lot of penalties. Old man Spezza, I've been enjoying him, just watching his renaissance come out of nowhere. But yeah, give me Mickey on the second line. I think he fits in well with Tavares and Nylander, and he's like a Zach Hyman, but a little Russian Zach Hyman, where he's not afraid to go in the corners, but he's a bit of a better shooter than Hyman, but Hyman just has that chemistry with Matthews and Marner that no one else has. But yeah, Mickey on the second line. I kind of like Mickey in DFS too, because I think they're going to let him stick up there on that line for a bit until they see anything better from the bottom six to put up.
Yeah, I would agree. And I'm just like, we'll get to DraftKings in a little bit. I know it's very easy to just go to Matthews and Marner right away on DK, but I think it's, what we've seen from Vancouver, at least 5 goals in 4 straight games, just really struggling against every team in the league, not named the Ottawa Senators. And just, I think it's smart to get involved with maybe like John Tavares or touch on that second line. Like Matthews is 8'8" on DK, Tavares is 6'3". Marner is 7'7", Willie Nylander is 5'6", right? Like get involved, I think, with those secondary pieces, still getting power play time. This Canucks team is struggling. They're giving, you just look at the numbers 5-on-5, Eric. They've allowed, they're top 5 in basically every metric that I look for. And they're checking all those boxes to attack against, right? To stack a team against them, like high danger chances allowed, quality chances, scoring chances, shot attempts, shots against, and then goals. I don't even want to sit here and blame Demko or Holtby. Like they're giving up so many odd man rushes every time I watch them. It's breakaway here and there, 2-on-1, 3-on-1.
Yeah, they're not Markstrom. I don't think that
right.
comes as a surprise to anybody. He's looked really good in Calgary.
They're making a lot last year.
Yeah, 100%. I believe. They always say is it comes down to goaltending in the end. If you don't have it, I can't remember the analogy. If you have goaltending, it's 80% of the equation. If you don't have it, it's 100% of the equation. So it's bad in Vancouver. They can't get a bounce. They can't get a stop because they're giving up too many high danger scoring chances. And if you're giving up high danger scoring chances to a team like the Leafs that are just littered with offensive skill, it's going to be a long night. It's going to be a really long night, and it's going to be a long night again tonight. I mean, I think that the Leafs still score 4 or 5 goals tonight.
Yeah, I think so too. So, to pick them straight up on the money line, it's not really worth your time unless you're going to parlay 3 or 4 other guys. I'm going to pick them on the puck line here. I don't usually get involved, but there might be 2 games here that I have to get involved with today. This is one. -1.5 is +115 looking at DraftKings Sportsbook. Probably not going to get involved with any of these shot props. I don't love them at all. I'm seeing Matthews here -253.5. I know some other books. I'm looking at Matthews 4.5. It's a little high, but that's plus money, +120. What I did on Saturday, what I told the FTN subs was just to get involved with maybe anytime goal for Matthews. It was actually plus money on Saturday. And, since this goal streak, obviously it's not. But if you're picking guys to score goals, I mean, I have no problem including him into a little bit of a parlay, -139 anytime goal. But I think what the play of the night and what I told FTN subs on Saturday was just to get involved, maybe a Marner assist or Marner 2 points. Marner 2 points +140. He's been just as good as Matthews. He's not finding the back of the net, but we all know what his game is. He loves to pass. He loves to set guys up. He reads the play. He's the guy who distributes the puck on the power play. Vancouver has taken more penalties than anybody in the league. That's another issue right there, is that they're just always shorthanded as well. So, and they're giving up shorties. It's just a bad hockey team right now. So continue to ride this trend out. It's over 70%. I think it's like 72% of the games in the North have gone they've had at least 6 goals. So that's not totally over the number because most of these totals are 6.5, but there have been at least 6 goals 70% of the games in the North, and the Canucks are a big part of that, and the Leafs as well, scoring goals. So going to move on from this game, but I think, getting involved with Marner points, 2 points I like. Matthews anytime goal, maybe stay away from the shot props. I do see Quinn Hughes minus 180 at 1.5 shot. I've been hitting this. It's minus 180. It's really juiced, but if you're into parlays, you can add that in there. He just plays a lot, right? He's logging a lot of ice time. He's on the power play quite often, and he's getting to that 2-shot mark pretty much every single game. So I like that one. Your other team, the Preds, up against the Bolts. What are you thinking here for Nashville this evening?
Tough draw, man. They're not the defending Stanley Cup champions for no reason. They're an unbelievable hockey team. The Preds have got some stuff to figure out. I think they're right there. They're right on the edge of it. They need to find offense. How long have we been talking about this? It seems like forever. Yeah. And when you bring in guys like Nick Cousins and Eric Halla, like those guys aren't pure offensive guys. I think they're all good pieces, but we don't, other than Forsberg, there's nobody that you can kind of rely on to push the offensive train every night. And if you can't do that against Tampa Bay, it's going to be tough. Although last time they played them tough. It was close. For sure it was close. Both the Florida games were pretty close. So if you're an aggressive, weird gambler like me, then maybe put money on the Preds tonight because, I feel like because of the effort and because of where they're sitting right now, they're due for a win.
Yeah, they're mixing around their lines.
Yeah.
What's Duchesne? I need to see more from this guy, right? He signed that big contract. Everybody wanted him. There's a lot of
on him. Watching the games, he's super noticeable. Every time he's on the ice, something's happening. They've got the puck and he's protecting the puck. He's making good plays, but it's just not going for him. I thought he scored the 2 goals the other day. I thought, okay, here we go. Monkey off the back. He's not gripping the stick as tight now, and away we go. But right back into the same thing where he's not producing like I feel he should be. Ryan Johansson out is a big loss for them down the middle of the ice. And Duchesne needs to step up and earn the money that he's making. He's a good player. He's looked good. To the eye test, he's looked good. He's just not finishing. And this has been a disease that's plagued the Predators forever. They look good, but they just can't seem to finish.
I don't have anything to confirm this, but this is the first of 2 straight back-to-back nights between these two teams. Curtis McElhinney is going to start one of these games. I think it potentially could be this evening.
Is he?
I think so. They can't ride Vasilevsky all year like this, can they? They're going to cruise. They do definitely ride him. I thought they played him too much 2 years ago down the stretch, and then they played Tampa Bay, and he looked a little – or then Tampa Bay. They played Columbus in that first round. That was when they lost to them first time. And he looked a little tired. He looked like a guy that played a lot of hockey that needed some rest. I think McElhinney will get a start. But both of those games went over the number. You said they hung around. It was a 4-3 Tampa win, and then it was a 5-2 Tampa win. McElhinney is not – I don't know. He had some decent numbers with the Leafs and some decent numbers with Carolina. He did not last year on a really good team. He struggled, and he hasn't played yet. That just shows how much faith they have in him, right? When you look at some other teams that are really going back and forth, like Vegas and Montreal, for example, just going back and forth with backups and their starters. So I think we might see some goals here. I'm leaning Tampa. I can't do it. I see what you're saying, and maybe they're starting to come around. I like the fact that Duchesne, maybe it's because of the injury, but he is playing up top with the guy he should be playing with in Forsberg. These guys, Forsberg is the man there, generates all the offense up front. So I like the fact that it's them two and then Arvidsson. That is a line that I'm kind of interested in DFS tonight as a sneaky little maybe line 1 stack, get some power play time together. Could maybe fit in Yossi if McElhinney is started. If it's Vasilevsky, it's just no dice. I just don't see it for Nashville. But shot props, same usual suspects for me. Stammer over Point, but he's juiced up. Stamkos is minus 162, 2.5 shots. Point is minus 112, 2.5. I think he can get involved with, an anytime goal Stammer or just an assist for Point, plus money, or 2 points for Braden Point. That's the line that I would attack this evening. Anything else to add to the Preds?
No, I mean, that's it. I feel with the goaltending, something's got to happen one way or the other. And I think we talked about this last year. I like Saros as a player, but I just don't think he's a starter. And I think it comes down to geometry. And that's a weird thing for me to say about math is he's just not big enough to play goaltender in the NHL. If he goes down in the butterfly stance, the whole top of the goal is open because he's short and very short to play goal in the NHL nowadays. The style of goaltending is not about saving or stopping the puck. It's about blocking it. That's how most goaltenders play now. And just the science of it is he's just too small. He does not look as sharp as he did last year. Pekka Rinne has looked pretty decent in coming in relief and even in his couple starts. So, I mean, for me, I'd be leading Rinne to start until Saros can kind of get right, because the reality is he does not look like the same goal as he did at the end of the year last year. And it just comes down to math. He's just not tall enough to be a starting goalie. I think in relief coming in, he can be good, but in that starting role where they have to rely on him, it's science, guys. It's science, and that's my belief. I've been saying that for years.
Yeah, you have.
I don't want to say that. I think he's a good goaltender, but it doesn't matter if you're not taking up most of the net. These guys, everybody, even fourth line guys, can shoot the puck with the sticks and the training, and everyone can shoot now. And if you're not at least 6'2", you're not taking up enough space. It's as simple as that.
All the reason for me to pick Tampa. Maybe lean with the over.
You're talking to the guy who put money on the Ottawa Senators to win the Stanley Cup. So what I'm saying is the last 2 times they played them, it was way closer than even, the 4-2 game was even closer than the other one, I believe, in the play. And I think that the Predators, they want to come away with a win. Like you said, if McElhinney plays, I'm betting on the Preds.
Preds are plus 132 at home, minus 155 for Tampa. This game's tough. This is a stay away. I've said this to Cam every single time, but good on Cam. On Friday's show, he did say he was going to be all in on the New York Islanders to beat the Penguins. They ended their 5-game losing streak with a 4-3 W against Pitt tonight. They are playing their rivals at MSG. We got the Rangers and the Islanders, minus 112 for the Rangers, minus 105 for the Isles. 5.5 is the spread here. Man, I might like some goals, but the Rangers have yet to really get going on all cylinders. They won 3 of 4, but they're not getting into these shootouts that I thought that they would get into. They played to the under quite a bit. The Islanders, same sort of deal. I don't have a feel, man. Honestly, it's not trying to be. I can't get a feel for this Islanders team. I just can't.
It's both of them. Both are weird
teams.
Both
of them are weird teams. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, it's. I feel the same way. I'm perplexed of who's going to take the reins here. I thought that the Islanders were going to be very effective. I thought playing that very defensive oriented Trotz, very responsible system. I thought because that's how they play and there's really no turnover in the roster, that they would be set up without a training camp to be very strong defensively still, because it's basically the same lineup as they had last year. I don't think we're really seeing that. I mean, the Islanders, again, is who's going to score? This is the same problem the Preds have. The Islanders have always had this problem. Barzal is an unreal player, but because of the system they play, he's never really left to be the player that he can be. I believe if he played on another team, everybody's talking about this guy because he's absolutely unreal. But Trotz believes in a certain style of hockey, and it's proven to be a winning style of hockey. We haven't seen that yet. And the Rangers, I thought that they would be high powered. I mean, I really did. I thought they would be shooting the lights out. I didn't think that they would be winning a ton of games, but I thought at least they would do is be pushing the pace and scoring a bunch of goals, and that hasn't happened either. I don't know what happened to Zibanejad. He was, a guarantee last year, and he has barely shown up at all this year. So hopefully they can get him going. They can get some offense going and at least make these games interesting. Like, this is New York versus New York. This should be interesting. And I don't know if I'll even watch it, to be honest. And that's saying something because I'm crazy.
Yeah, it might be on the third TV, right?
Yeah.
The Islanders have played to the under in 7 of 10. The Rangers have played to the under in 7-10. So, like, if there's a side here to lean, it's probably the under. The Rangers 7-3 against the spread. But I'm just, like I've been doing with these games that are just kind of coin flips here. They play each other at the start of the season. It was a 4-0 win for the Isles, and then the Rangers bounce back, right? It's just, man, I'm going to lean with the under. I think the play is the under, but it's not my favorite pick, and I probably won't give it at the end. But if you're looking for a ton of picks, like, that's how I'm leaning. But what I've been saying when there's these coin flip games is just look at these shot props, people. It's all about the shot props. Anders Lee, 2.5 minus 125. Book it. Love it. Absolutely love it. This guy loves to shoot the puck. Look at this. 3, 4, 4, 4, 3. He had 8 in the opener against the Rangers. He had 4 the very next game. So he's got 12 shots in 2 games against the Rangers this season. Getting a ton of ice time. Played 23 minutes the other night against the Flyers. Plays on the power play, just a volume shooter. So I just think he's a guy that I go to every single time. And I'm surprised, like DraftKings Sportsbook, I'm surprised that he's minus 125. I feel like he should be right around minus 140, 137-ish, right around like Sveshnikov and Rantanen, these guys that just keep hitting their overs consistently. So that's my favorite play of the entire game. Ottawa, Edmonton, Eric, your Sens? Plus 165 at home, minus 195 for the Oilers.
Oh, my son, my Sens.
I'm just kidding. I know they're not your Sens. They played really good against the Habs back-to-back games. I thought they were very competitive.
They kind of are my Sens.
They kind of are.
It's a really competitive team, man. And I think that some of these younger guys are going to get going. I think DJ Smith, healthy scratching Colin White was an unbelievable move. He's looked really, really good since coming back. There's definitely a jump in his step. This is a guy that's young and not, a lot of people don't know. And he got paid. He got paid pretty well, and his play fell off and he benched him. That's a message to the team. That's a message to him saying, look, if you're not going to compete and you're not going to play hard, you're not going to play on this team regardless of what you're making. This is a thing that's been going on in the NHL forever. But a lot of times coaches don't have, quite frankly, the balls to do it. And he did it. And he's looked pretty good. Do I believe that they're going to win the Stanley Cup? No. Do I believe when I put them and they were like a plus 1,500 to win it? It's $20. What if they win?
Would you put $20 on them tonight? Do you believe in them this evening?
Oh, geez. For me, against Edmonton, Edmonton is not a good hockey team.
No, they're not. No.
They didn't do anything in the offseason to make their goaltending better. They didn't do anything to make their defense better. Bringing in Tyson Barrie is not a way to bolster your defense. I get that he's good on the power play, or he's been good on the power play at some point in his career. We haven't seen that in a couple of years. So that was a bizarre move to me, especially when most teams are playing with, basically one defenseman on the power play nowadays. So I don't think I'd put $20 on them to win tonight. But, against Edmonton, it could happen. The only deterrent is Connor McDavid is crazy. My wife, who is forced to watch more hockey than she wants, said, I'm trying to think of what she said, how come he's so much faster than everybody else? Like, this is a person that barely watches any hockey, kind of watches a lot by proxy, but just could see, the guy's on another level. A complete another level. I find it hard to bet against any team that he's playing on.
And that's the thing. Yeah. Your wife is great, by the way. We had some fun at the Bell Center watching some hockey. She was loving it there, Preds and Habs. That's the thing, man. It's McDavid and Draisaitl. And I don't know if you noticed when they played Calgary the other night, they didn't even come off the ice. Like the last few minutes of the game. They just stayed on the ice. It seems like it's their only offense, their only way to win. Both guys come in tonight. As I said off the top of the show, McDavid has a 9-game point streak. He has been lights out over that span. Draisaitl has a 9-game point streak. Dude has 16 points in the 9 games, and McDavid has 21 points over those 9 games. It's just a duo that's extremely tough to stop. You're dead on about their defense and all the holes that they have, especially in goal. I think even myself, I find I'm a little hard on Koskinen, but I mean, he's not great, and he has to be extremely good for this team to win on most nights. I told you I don't really love the puck line. I think the play again is to get involved with like McDavid 2 points is -118. I tweeted out last week. I think it was a 3-point night was plus 400. Then a 3-point night. I went back to it silly. I didn't get the 3-point night the second time, but that was still plus 307. I think, without being greedy, the 2-point night is kind of the play here, right? -118, 2-point night for McDavid. Draisaitl 2-point night is plus 105. I think those are 2 good bets. I'd rather do that than get involved with the shot. Sometimes Draisaitl, like he had the 6 assists against Ottawa when they played last week, and he didn't put 1 puck on net. So he's a bit of a playmaker, but he can. The very next game, he had the 3 shots, I believe, in the first period. So it's something that he can do, but I'm not totally into it. I'd rather get involved with the points, like 2.5 -143. McDavid plus 100 over 3.5. It's just a lot for McDavid, even though he does have a boatload of shots. I mean, he's 3rd in the NHL in shots. But I think the points are the play. Would you agree? Maybe just taking some shots on them to get multi-point nights?
Yeah, I would definitely lean points there. That is a ton for McDavid.
3.5 shots. Yeah.
But I mean, if it's going to happen, it's going to be through him, right? Like that's Ottawa Senators, look, not a good hockey team. Goaltending has been pretty rough. Thomas Chabot, being back is a big deal for them.
It is a big deal. He missed that 1 game. That was the big blowout. Yeah,
big. I mean, he's the centerpiece of this team for sure. Plays a ton of minutes. Is good all over the ice. I'm about to hit enter on a $10 bet tonight.
He's doing it
for Ottawa to win.
Ottawa to win. Okay, giddy up.
It's locked in.
All right. He's doing it, folks. We got 2 more games to talk about. We have Columbus and Carolina. These 2 teams played last night. It was a 6-5 win for Carolina. Mentioned Jack Roslovic off the top. It was more into Patrick Laine, but Roslovic has been pretty good over the last couple games. He comes in with a 4-game point streak. He's got 6 points over that span, has a goal, has been playing now for a game and a half with Patrick Laine and Cam Atkinson. He played 19:08 Roslovic last night, was definitely a season high for him. He started playing 14 minutes, played 14 minutes over the first 3 games, 4 of 5, and then heavy minutes for him last night. We're going to get the battle of the backups here this evening. I guess it would be the 3rd string for Carolina. I think goals is the way to go here. Usually I'm a little hesitant with Columbus and the unders, but they've been struggling lately to keep the puck out of the back of their net. I'd lean Carolina, but I think the play here is the over. We got 5.5, Columbus plus 120 at home, Carolina minus 141 on the road. 7-2, the Hurricanes, and Columbus has been basically in every single game, 4-9 against the spread, but 5-5-3 on the year. What do you think this evening?
How much trouble they've had, Columbus keeping the puck out of their net has actually surprised me. 2 good goalies, trot system or oh my God.
Yep. Trot system.
No, not trot system. It's why can't I
Tortsy.
See his face? Torts.
The crazy angry man, Mr. Tortsy.
Torts system.
Yeah, how could you forget Tortorella? He's a guy that we can't forget.
I don't know. I get punched in the head a lot and dropped on my head a lot.
Set you up for that one, yeah.
Sometimes the brain she just turns off, boys, and you gotta search around in there for the right answer. Thank you, Maddie, for coming in and saving the day. I mean, it doesn't look like a Torts team right now. I mean, they just they're having troubles keeping the puck out of their net. They are scoring more than they have. I mean, I think Laine is. I mean, arguably the best player that's ever played in Columbus offensively for sure. He's looked pretty motivated. Russell looks good. I said it when the trade happens, 100% the Columbus Blue Jackets won that trade. We don't know what Dubois is, and the 3rd round pick for a guy that's, I mean, basically now starting on their top line. It's as of right now, the Columbus Blue Jackets crushed that trade. I mean, in the future, we'll see. But my opinion was that they definitely won it because a pick is a pick. There's no guarantee that that third round guy even plays in the NHL. And Roslovic is an NHL player. I mean, I don't think that's a surprise to anybody. If it is, then he probably is available, and for your fantasy teams, go out and grab him because he's going to play some important hockey for Columbus. For me, I think I'd go with a 5-5. I think I'd probably go over as well because these, like the last game was, I mean, it was wild. I watched most of it, and it was just like, okay, it looks like the scoring's going to stop, and then the other team would score. Then they tie it up, and the other team would score two more. And it's like, it's crazy. It's crazy. So yeah, I'm going over on that one.
Yeah, and Trocheck I can't find here on DraftKings Sportsbook, but look around. They might show up a little bit later. He's been plus money to get the over on 2.5 shots. We love this guy, right? We're big Trocheck fans. 3 shots, 5-1, 7-3-3. He just logs a lot of ice time. He's looked real nice. I know last year was they made the deal near the deadline. It was a surprising move, but I like the addition from Carolina when they got Trocheck, and now I think he's getting a little bit more comfortable. I mean, it's the battle of the backups, I believe. I don't think anything is confirmed here, but I don't think Reimer's going to go. Delkovich probably going to go for Carolina, and Lankins, Kiv is what they call him. Kiv Lankins, the Kiv, because Elvis is on IR, I believe. So he's definitely not going to play. So battle of the backups, like I said, there's been some goals. And looking at Carolina, too, there have been a lot of goals. I mean, 4-3 against Dallas, 4-3 against Chicago. They lost 6-4 against Chicago. Then they won 6-5. So they've been playing to the over quite a bit. Maybe Mrazek was the answer. I don't know. I've been a little hard on him. I thought Reimer is the guy that they should have been playing, but they've struggled so far to keep the puck out of their net, and they can score, right? They usually just own the puck every single game. So give me the over there. And then the last game that we have to talk about is Arizona and St. Louis. And we'll be talking about them quite a bit, I believe, over the next few days, because with all the postponed games, these two teams have played each other 3 times in a row, and they're going to play each other another 3 times in a row. So it's going to be 6 straight games of St. Louis and Arizona. This is first round of the playoffs, Eric. Right now, Arizona's up 2-1 in the series.
Yeah. I mean, guessed on by nobody. So it's crazy. We talked a little bit before we started. Arizona they're sneaky. You mean like you don't think that they're going to be any good, and then just kind of win games. And I'm very unclear how this is happening. They got a bunch of interesting players. Clayton Keller is a guy that I've been on for a while. He hasn't really been getting it done, but had a good game last game. I think he had 2 goals, 2 assists. Dvorak has been sneaky good, and Connor Garland he's great. Offensively is just a wild man. I mean, just ripping the puck, can shoot the puck, is competitive, a tiny little guy, but he is a very interesting player for both DFS and season long for me. And St. Louis is, man, they look disjointed to me. I mean, they just do not look like the team that I thought they were going to be. And the fact that Arizona's given them a run for the money, and this is wild, 6 games in a row they're going to play. You kind of wish it was like 20 years ago when there was actually still fighting in the NHL, because it would be a wild ride.
Yeah, no, it really would be. We might see it by the end. I know the game got a little heated towards the end of it, but a staple of this show, I think, is David Perron's shot prop over 2.5 plus money, again, plus 115. Why not? Right. Let's just continue to ride this out. He didn't get it the last time these two teams played, but plus money, he's been getting it done. And one guy that's been heating up a little bit, I noticed in the second last game when they were down, Hoffman, right? It was only, I think, a matter of time before they moved Hoffman up. I know Robert Thomas is on IR, so Hoffman's starting to get a little bit more ice time, right? He started 13-11, 15-12. Where was the minutes? Then 19 minutes in his last game. Or 19 minutes in the first, man, they played Arizona so much, but he has 3 goals in these 3 games against the Coyotes, and his ice time has gone like 14, 19, 17. So he's starting to get a little bit more involved. He had 9 shots on goal and 2 goals 2 games ago. So in the 3 games against Arizona, he's got 15 shots. Like that's the Hoffman we know, right? The volume shooter. Put the puck in the back of the net. Not seeing any shot props, but I'd maybe get involved with, you could probably, he might be favored actually first time goal. I'll just take a look at it here quickly. Yeah, he is. But, I don't hate it, right? He's trending up. He's shooting the puck a little bit more. He's starting to play with some better players. So Hoffman, maybe anytime goal is a long shot. 11-1 is not bad for first time goal, and anytime goal he's plus 190. If a shot prop does come up with him 2.5, I would like that one more than Perron actually, but I do like David Perron 2.5. So I like the Blues minus 148. I'm going to take them. I believe I jumped on them last night, minus 145. I'm seeing here now, minus 157. So do a quick if you like them. Let's get into some DK stuff, and then we'll get some picks towards the end. Maddie's been hot too, so I want to get his takes on what he's thinking for this evening's slate. At the center position, it's not breaking any news here. McDavid, Matthews, Draisaitl, these guys are all very good. If you can find a way to get them in, sure, why not? 9K for McDavid, 8.8 for Matthews. I'd lean Matthews over McDavid, just volume shooter, shooting the puck in a real groove right now. And this is more about the Canucks than it is about the Senators. Believe it or not, I think Vancouver may be a worse defensive team. Draisaitl 8.2, 0.76, Barzell 7.1. No thanks. 6.5, Aho, Trocheck 6.4. And this is the range that I want to get into tonight. Aho at 6.5. I'm into him and Svechnikov, and I have no problem getting in Dougie Hamilton or Trocheck, just all four of those guys on PP1. And Aho, since he's been playing with Svechnikov, a little bit more life in his game. He's got the 8 shots in the past 3 games. He's got 3 points in his past 2, 4 in his last 4, and he's played at least 19 minutes in 4 straight games. So Svechnikov is a player that I just absolutely love. Those two together on the line, as I mentioned, Trocheck on that first power play line. I think you should get involved. If most people, Eric, will be looking at Toronto and will be looking at Edmonton as stacks, and I get that. If you're playing multiple lineups, you got to have them. But I think maybe just to get a little bit different with either line 2 in Toronto, right? The Tavares at 6.3, or that Columbus and Carolina game, right? Maybe Zibanejad at one point. This is probably not the game that he breaks out against the stingy Islanders at 6.2, but he is extremely underpriced. It's like 2K cheaper than what he was opening night. It just goes to show that he has been really underpriced. Sorelli at 5K, Tampa Bay, secondary scoring. What about Matt Duchene at 4.4? Maybe Duchene and maybe against McElhinney? Duchene and Philip Forsberg is the way to go?
I mean, left wing lock right now is projecting Vasilevsky to start today and tomorrow.
Come on.
I mean, this year has been insane. I mean, I'm siding with you. They cannot. McElhinney's got to play a game, and I mean, he's got to play at some point. They got to give this guy a night off. But right now, it's left wing locks. Goalie predictor is predicting Vasilevsky and Saros on both nights. I don't imagine that stays. I haven't been able to find anywhere really reliable for who's going to start. And I mean, like it'll say, it'll say likely. And then last minute, Ottinger's playing and Kudobin's on the IR. And like, how did that happen? It's a wild year. I had a team where I had 4 players playing last week because of postponed games, and I got absolutely submarined. These guys that are going to play, the NHL is even saying that they're going to play these games. So you can't drop these players that are postponed, but they're not doing anything for you fantasy wise. This is if you win your fantasy league this year, tip of the cap, because it is going to be very, very difficult.
And you're going to get it done. Hopefully we can help you out. Yeah, I didn't say this off the top, but if you have a season-long question, leave it in the comment section here, YouTube, and smash that like button, as Mayo likes to say. So, Yeah, I'm looking here for some news as well on McElhinney. I'm not seeing it. I mean, John Cooper could potentially get his first start on Friday, which did not happen. He says, quote, worst case scenario, probably, he said, in that back-to-back against Nashville. Probably. Wouldn't even commit to maybe starting the guy in back-to-back games. Okay, center position, though, deeper down, Roslovic 3.3, like him. I think it's value to be had there. Over at wing, Stammer, Marner 7.7, I think is actually underpriced for a guy who doesn't shoot the puck a ton, but he's been so good.
Like Nylander's price. I mean, he's due for a game where
5-6.
He's a really good player. I think he is streaky, but I feel like he's due.
Yeah.
Plays a ton of time, plays on the power play, plays with John Tavares. Sign me up.
I agree. That's the way I would go tonight to be different. Everyone's going to go to Marner and Matthews. But Tavares and Nylander, I mean, Nylander's got 12 points. He's got 12 points in as many games, right? So he's been solid. Just taking it, 5-6 for Willie Nylander, 4 goals, 8 assists, 12 games. I like that as well. Svechnikov 6-5 stands out to me. I'm in on that Carolina top line, as I mentioned. And then Hoffman a little bit down the list at 4-7. I think that's a pretty solid price for him too. I'm starting to see it, guys. He's a streaky player. Just took him a little bit of time for the surroundings in St. Louis. Started the year on the third line. They do tend to roll the lines in St. Louis. So I don't know if he'll ever get into like the 19, 20 minutes consistently like he averaged sometimes with the Panthers. He was really their go-to guy when they needed a goal. He was on that top power play and stuff like that. But that is a guy that definitely stands out to me. Bjorkstrand at 4-1. I just think that's a sneaky little game. I really do. And then Max Domi's at 3-4. He's on that first power play unit as well. So you can get involved maybe with some of those cheap guys. VC 2-7, real cheap, but just the matchup is just so nice. Defense, Hedman 7-3, Hamilton 6-5, Shabbat 6-2, Nurse all the way up to 6-1. Remember when he was 4K? That was nice. Or Yossi is 6K, Barry's 5-9, Riley 5-8. Love Riley tonight at 5-8. I like Quinn Hughes as well at 5-4. I think both of those defensemen are very underpriced. Seth Jones is extremely underpriced at 4-5. I wrote him up over the weekend at FTN. He has 4 points over a 3-game point streak. Lots of ice time. Yeah. And Zach Werenski is on. He's out. So he's on IR. And what I noticed last night watching that game is Michael DeZotto was getting some power play time. He was on the second power play unit. He only has 4 points in 13 games, but he's going to start to really play. He played 19 minutes last night with Werenski on IR. He had 2 shots, no blocks, but he's a guy that blocks quite a few shots. Like he could get that bonus for you over the past couple of games. He has 7 blocks in his last 2, and he has, quick math, 11 shots over his last 4. So is a guy at 3-2. If you're just looking for a salary saver, that's the way to go. Give us a goalie, Eric. We got potentially Vasilevsky or Curtis McElhinney, 8-5, 8-3. Anderson's at 8-4. Koskinen's at 8-2. I won't go there. 8K for Binnington. Reimer at 7-9. I don't think he's going to start. Nedeljkovic is at 7-7. What do you think here in net? Well, probably one of the Islanders or, just attacking maybe the under here, Islanders and Rangers game. Varlamov.
Yeah, I mean, Varlamov has been, he's been a good goalie for a long time. It's been a weird year for him so far, but it's still with Trotz there, Mitch Korn there, like that's still a guy I believe in. And Darcy Kemper for the Coyotes. I mean, they have been ultra competitive playing against St. Louis again. Kemper's been pretty good.
Kemper has been good. Yeah, that game to me, Arizona, St. Louis, or New York and Rangers, it's kind of where I'm going in net. Like, I think there's goals in Carolina, Columbus, Vancouver, Toronto, Edmonton, Ottawa, and Tampa Bay and Nashville. I think there's goals in all of those games. If I'm going to lean with any unders, it's probably Islanders and Rangers in Arizona and St. Louis. And it's not just about the unders. It is about the shot bonus and getting that save bonus. And I think you could potentially get it with, all 4 of these goalies, actually. Binnington, Kemper, Ranta played really well against St. Louis a couple of days ago as well. But I will lean with the Varlamov or Shesterkin. 7-8, Varlamov 7-7. Even if it is Georgiev, I'll get involved there. 7-6. Sorokin probably not. So that'll do it. DFS, I think, like I said, just the stacks, Toronto, Edmonton, and then maybe game stacking Carolina, Columbus, get involved with Roslovic, get involved with that Aho and Svechnikov, Trocheck, Dougie Hamilton unit there. Maddie, what do you think for DFS tonight on the way out?
For DFS, for me, like you said, the Islanders and Rangers game, give me a goalie from one of them. The Lightning and Predators, if I'm taking any guys here, give me a flyer on Tolvanen for the Preds. I think he'll be low owned. He's getting PP2 time. The Preds are now finally starting to spread out their power play a bit. I can't take the Preds on a puck line or a money line, though. It's just that team on the back end to start the season looked great, and now everybody that's not named Roman Josi looks like they're playing Timbits hockey. The plays by Matthias Ekholm and Dante Fabro last game, just the turnovers were absolutely brutal, so I'll stay away from that. For the Leafs on that team, like I said, I'll take Mickey, and for the Coyotes, I'm going to take Connor Garland for a shot prop and for DFS as well. For the Hurricanes and Blue Jackets, if I'm going over there, I've been going to the Svechnikov well a lot, and I think people are starting to sour on him a bit, so that gives me even more incentive to play Svech. He's close. He's just so close to becoming this perennial goal scoring threat. It's just he's so inconsistent still. And like you said, I'll probably take Roslovic too. And Laine's shot prop at 2.5, if you can find that anywhere, I'm hammering that.
Yeah, I like it too. So these are the shot props I like. I like the Garland call. I'm not seeing it on DK, but he's plus money in certain spots. He just continues to do it. Fan favorite of ours, Eric, for sure. But my favorite may be Lee. Lee 2.5 minus 125. Like Svechnikov 2.5 minus 148. Line 2.5 minus 155. Point and Stammer both 2.5. I like Stammer more, but he's juiced up to minus 162. I have no problem with Point. Sometimes he gets there. Usually gets to 2 every game. Minus 112 for over 2.5. Perron 2.5 minus or plus 115. 2 points for McDavid minus 118. Draisaitl 2.9 plus 105. Marner 2.9 plus 140. Matthews anytime goal is minus 139. Get involved with some anytime goals, parlay them. I know, Matty, you do some of that stuff, and we've had some success with the FTN subs. We nailed 2 on Friday and Saturday, 4-game parlay anytime goals. We had Smeshnikov in there for 1. We had Matthews, and we had McDavid, and the other one is blanking me right now. But just those shooters, right? Those volume shooters. Get involved with those guys. The picks for me, Matt, we're doing a little bit better than the first week of the show.
Yeah, you're doing a lot better. Another clean sweep for you, 3 for 3. You hit
Nice.
the Vegas money line, San Jose money line, who were plus money, Florida money line, which was a scary, terrifying game. Yeah, 3 for 3 brings you to 33 and 47 on the year. A nice 70% for you.
We'll take that. Yeah, SJ Sharkey. Shout out Cam. I like Tampa. I like St. Louis. I like the over in Carolina, Columbus 5.5. I think that could get to 6 before you know it. I like that over. Puck lines I kind of stay away from, but I'm going to parlay 2 of those guys and just lay a little bit on the Leafs puck line and Edmonton puck line. They're both plus money, plus 128 and plus 115. Sorry, EY, going against the Sens tonight, man.
Okay. I got my money in.
Got money in. Eric, always a pleasure, man. Any final words?
No, man. Happy hockey. I'm really hoping that these postponed games don't continue at this rate. It's frustrating as a season-long fantasy player. It's frustrating as a fan of the NHL. My hope is that everyone can play their 56 games and we don't end up with a winning percentage and stuff like that. It's just going to get messy if this continues. But it's the way of the world, guys. It's the way of the world right now. Everything is nuts. We're living one day at a time. Chris is snowed in and living in an igloo.
I really am.
Wild times. I actually have to go back to work tomorrow. It's crazy days.
Crazy days. Matt, you got a pick on the way out for us?
Favorite shot prop is Garland. Favorite
Garland,
pick is it feels so cheesy to take the Leafs. Give me Leafs puck line. I'll just make it a little different there. That's my favorite pick as a whole.
Yeah, it's the trend I think we got to continue to follow. You said something, Eric, earlier in this show with the postpone or all the postponed games season long. I don't really like to carry 3 goalies, but I think you got to. This is the time you got to get those goalie starts depending on your format. I think, guys like Halak and Allen that you may not, start a typical backup. You just need to have these guys on your roster because you can't get screwed with all these, postponed games and not getting the goalie starts and then missing all those categories. So I think you just need to change your strategy a little bit. It's something that I talked about over at FTN. If you're looking for that article, ftnfantasy.com. Eric Young, give him a follow at the Eric Young, myself at Chris Meaney. Shout out to Matty Best getting it done for us all the time. Good luck tonight on the ice, and we'll talk to you later in the week. Cheers.